Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Ty Hauser. Let's queer up the USA view. Utah's pride flag ban causes Sundance to move to Colorado. Utah made headlines as it became the first state in the nation to ban pride flags from public schools and government buildings. Republican Governor Spencer Cox declined to sign House Bill 77, a bill titled Flag Display Amendments, which prohibits the display of non-approved flags, including the pride flag. The law allows fines of $500 per violation per day, though decisions are subject to judicial review. Governor Cox's response to the bill aimed to placate both sides of the debate. He noted the irony that no headline reads MAGA flags banned from classrooms, but criticized the bill's narrow focus on flags, stating it would fail to address broader concerns about classroom displays. In a direct message to Utah's LGBTQ community, Cox acknowledged the pain recent legislation has caused, writing, quote, "Politics can be a bit of a blood sport at times, and I know we have had our disagreements. I want you to know that I love and appreciate you, and I am grateful that you are part of our community, part of our state," end quote. However, the fallout after this decision was swift. The Sundance Film Festival, a cherished Utah institution and one of the world's most famous film festivals, announced it would leave its longtime home and move to neighboring Colorado in 2027. On social media, Equality Utah expressed deep sadness over Sundance's departure, stating, quote, "This departure leaves a void in our state's cultural soul, particularly for LGBTQ Utahns, who found our struggles and triumphs mirrored in the festival's courageous storytelling," end quote. For many, the loss of Sundance is more than economic. It's a cultural and symbolic blow. The move echoes growing concerns that Utah's increasingly restrictive legislation could drive away more inclusive and progressive voices. It's sad to see that Sundance is moving, but I'm proud of Sundance for, sticking up for all of us in making this decision. And in terms of Governor Cox, I mean, I feel like "I love you" is not a genuine, like we said in the story, placation. And that's all that is.
Well, it seems like some of the legislators' temple garment must be a little too tight around the genital area, preventing blood from getting to their brains. But kudos to Sundance for relocating to Colorado, Utah's hipper and more progressive neighbor to the east.
For now, let's just remember how Republican Colorado is.
Yes, but things have changed there, so let's hopefully they will stay changed.
And I think it's important to continue looking at ways that we as a community have allies in the arts, Sundance in particular here, and that, we need to use the arts or whatever vehicles we have to empower us. So if that means moving something to another state, we're not giving up on it. But it's Sundance. It's not necessarily an LGBT organization, but many LGBT creators and people behind the scenes. So I think it's amazing. And I certainly agree that the governor's words are just words.
Well, I mean, it's a rock and a hard place situation. The governor he chose not to sign it.
Right.
So regardless of him signing it or not, it is still enacted. But we need to, I think it's a rock and a hard place for Sundance because I know how hard it is to make those changes. But at the same time, we can't forget that Utah still needs that support. And I think that's where the Equity Pride Utah,
they're going to lose out.
They're going to lose
Big
out.
time.
And so now it's one of those where, the nation has to come from the outside and go, okay, how do we support Utah now?
Right.
Because we can't give up the fight.
Right. That's a good point. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.